eat, whether it's cooking right or whether it's going to be done in time or whether yeah, we're all there actually. The question was whether we should leave the house with the turkey on the grill. And are the pies going to be okay and all the fun and frolic of it. We're worried about what we eat. We may even be worried about what we wear. We're going there. Well, they may have seen that before. This is not the way guys think, by the way. They may have seen that before. I don't know if that's appropriate. I don't know. Will I be underdressed? Will I be overdressed? Jesus tells us, don't worry about those things. God provides for us. And you're going, yeah, God provided, but I got to pick it out of my closet. The beauty of the earth is a spectacular thing, and we live in a unique area here, where within a couple of hours we can see so much of God's beauty of what He has placed. You can make it to the ocean and see the waves. You can witness the bay. And we went down to the Hayward Regional Museum, the Hayward Interpretive Center, not long ago with the first grade class, and we got to look at the little bugs and the little butterflies and the little pickleweed and all this other stuff, which, to me, is not all that beautiful. But to the guide who was showing us, it was so evident that he found it beautiful, that he found it so intriguing. You may know somebody who likes something that you can't understand. Oh, it could be football today, and you go, oh, I don't even know what sport they're playing. But I think of the people who really, I don't like bugs. And there are the entomologists whose whole life is just wound up in those little insects that I would just step on. And they're like, oh no, you can't do that. And yet when you examine them and examine how their eyes are made and examine how they move and everything, there is a beauty there. You may not appreciate them, but you appreciate the work that God put into making them. Whatever it is that you think is beautiful that other people may not find interesting. There's all sorts of music, there's all sorts of art. I don't understand modern art because to me it looks like a bad first grader painted it. But, when you have to explain it, I think they're just good salesmen. If you look at it and you go, I don't know what it is, and they explain it to you, oh, they're better talkers than they are artists, in my opinion. But we have the old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And God looks at us, and in His eyes we are beautiful. We may never grace the cover of a magazine, whether it be for our beauty, for our physique, for anything, for any purpose. We may never rise to the level of what the world considers beautiful. But to God, we are special and unique. We are beautiful. In all His creation, He looks at us and He says, have you seen my beautiful child? Now, I know you have all probably in your life at one point looked at the picture of a baby that took your breath away, and not in a good way. You looked at that picture and they said, look, this is my grandchild. And you look and you go, is that picture, which way does it go? To that grandparent, to that parent, that child is as beautiful as any in all the world. You may think you don't have an inherent beauty. You may think you don't have an inherent worth. And yet God looks at you and sees in you a beauty beyond all measure. He looks at you and sees a worth which would cause Him to send His Son into the world to die for you. To give Him His life on the cross in exchange for you. How much value do you have to God? Understand that exchange. That God thinks that your soul is so beautiful, that your life is so beautiful and so precious, that He would give His own life in place of yours. That He would suffer pain that we can't imagine, that He would suffer agony that is beyond all understanding, all because of the beautiful you. The beautiful you that He perceives. If we have children, we understand what it is like to be willing to give your life for them. That you would do anything. When they are hurting, you would do anything to take their pain away. We are God's children. We are made in his image. He saw our sinfulness of Adam and Eve that we inherited. He drove them from the garden not in anger but in fear for them. Because if they had eaten of the tree of eternal life, there would never have been an opportunity for salvation for them. They would have never died. They would have never had an opportunity to be reborn. And so when he drives them from the garden, places the angel at the edge of the garden to guard that they may not come back in, it's not because of hatred. It's not because he doesn't love them. It's because he loves them so much that he says, there's a way. I've got a plan. In Genesis 3:15, we see what's called, theological, I have to use the theological terms every now and then to show that I went to seminary, the proto-evangelium. Boy, that sounds impressive. It's the first mention of the gospel. And it's when God promises to Adam and Eve, he said, guess what? I'm going to send a redeemer. And Satan will bite his heel, but he will crush his head. The first promise of salvation comes immediately following their casting out of the garden. Now Eve and Adam think it's going to be great, it's going to be quick, and so when Seth is born, they say, we've got a man. God says it's going to take a little longer. And all creation goes through. And God says, I'm still looking for my people. I'm still watching over them. I still have you in my heart. And so at just the right time, he sends his Son into the world to take our place. He redeems us through the blood of his precious Son. He says, you have a beauty so great that I will give my very best for you because I love you that much. We have a beautiful earth all around us. We can make it to the ocean quickly. We can go to the bay. We can go to the redwoods. We can go to the desert. We can go to the mountains. We're really so blissfully located right here that within a few hours we can see pretty much most of God's wonderful creation, the variety of it. And yet God doesn't look at all the things of the earth. He looks at you. Because you are the beauty of the earth to him. You are the beauty that of all creation, he looks at you and says, you have a value, you have a beauty, you have a worth. The world may not recognize it. The people around you may not recognize it. But God knows you. And God recognizes you. And God died for you. And so today as we gather as a nation to give thanks for what God has bestowed upon us, remember to give thanks for his beauty, the beauty that he has placed in the world, but also give thanks despite all that we might understand. God sees in us a beauty that we cannot imagine and a value that we cannot understand. And yet his love is so great that he only wants what is best for us. The beauty of the earth, you can think of the waterfalls, you can think of the trees, you can think of the snowfalls, you can think of the ocean. And all of that pales in significance when God looks at you. Because you are the beauty of the earth to him. May we recognize our place in God's kingdom. May we rejoice in our relationship with him. And may we always remember that every person you meet is a person whom God thinks is beautiful. And so let us walk with compassion, let us walk with love, and let us walk with kindness in our lives. May God be with you this day and each day. Amen. Let us rise. We're going to continue singing.